everyone. Welcome back to LaceUp with Mickey podcast. This is episode 9. Joining me on episode 9 is the director of BL Global, the largest DSD distributor of convenience items in Southern Florida. Javier, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
No problem, brother.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. Javier and I have been working together here with LaceUp, I think, since I started, been about 3 or 4 years, something like that.
4 years, yeah.
4 years already. Mm-hmm. He started when we had our application that didn't really track inventory, that had a bunch of bugs, had a bunch of problems. Yeah. And he helped us, in reality, fix a lot of it. So I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Well, before you got here, I did a little due diligence, and I saw that you started in Venezuela.
Correct.
Right. I want you to take us back to that time. I know. You started with IBM. Tell us your story, how you got to this country. I want to know the whole thing.
Okay. Well, I had a corporate job at IBM for about 7 years. I used to work in sales, product manager, distribution, and at the end I was in charge of large accounts. Actually, at the end I was taking care of PDVSA, the largest account of South America, the old company that sadly is not working too good now. But then while I was working at IBM, I have the small entrepreneur thing inside of me that I want to start doing some business for myself, but I didn't want to lose my job because honestly I was in sales, and at that time the sales positions, you get very good, you get paid very well, very well. So I started an idea of opening a urban spa chain to be located in the major malls, shopping centers. So I started that business, and I was working during my lunchtime, after hours, weekends in that idea, and the only way that I found to dedicate more time to that into that business is asking for a leave absence with IBM so I can do my MBA. So what I did is I was able to secure my job with a permit from IBM, and I did my MBA part-time. So I was doing the MBA part-time and working the other part-time. But after I finished my MBA, when I came back to IBM, they said, well, Chavez had just won the election and it was very bad, and my corporate didn't allow them, to offer me the job again. So they breached the contract, and honestly, I was very happy about that because they have to compensate me because of the breach of the contract.
But going back, before you went back, right? Why did you choose to go get an MBA? What was the reasoning behind it?
Well, the thing about the MBA is that you learn all the theory, and especially learning by studying cases, you will get a lot of ideas, especially when you're running a business and you're doing an MBA. Everything that you heard is directly related to your business, so you start applying a lot of stuff into your business while you're studying. So you learn about many things that you can apply, next day, and you start feeling that you have so much information and you want to use all of them in your business. You want to do, you want to establish metrics, you want to track metrics, you want to have like a Kanban, you want to have everything. You want to do FODA analysis, you want to do everything for measuring, all the opportunities that you have in your business. But the MBA at the end, what it gives you is a lot of, I will say, a structure. I will give you a way to think. How to measure a business, how to measure profitability, how to measure, the return, how to measure the risk that you're gonna be taking in your business, and also help you how to run your business better, And I think after being working for a while, I would strongly recommend, to do an MBA for sure. I will not do it as soon as you get out of, your school. I will definitely do it after 3 or 4 years of experience, maybe.
So do you think so? So the MBA gave you structure,
Yeah.
and it allowed you to compartmentalize the ideas that you had for the business.
Yeah, for sure. And it will give you a lot of ideas that you can, immediately apply to your business. It will give you just to perform the MBA, you need to be very organized because you have so much things that you won't be able to read everything that they told you that you have to read. So the third thing that you will learn is how to prioritize the things that you have to do in order to be successful in the MBA. So in the other hand, in your business is the same way. You need to, you need to have priorities for your business in order to move forward. I mean, every day I think, what can I do today to make my business better? And I do that every day. So what can I do, to make the process smoother? To what can I do to increase my revenue today? Every day I think about that.
And that attests to the schooling system in Venezuela.
Yeah.
Because I went to school. I have an economics degree. I don't have a master's, but I have an economics degree from UNLV in Las Vegas. And I feel like when I got out of school, I couldn't apply any of this knowledge to this. I had to come into here, and what the school gave me, honestly, the skill that it gave me that I'm able to apply is Excel. More than anything, how to structure a spreadsheet, how to run formulas, how to be able to do complex things in Excel. But apart from that, I had to learn everything with experience. So that's why 1 year, when I started, I didn't make any money, and I couldn't really bring any value to my uncle because I knew nothing. So I had to learn it all. So I think it's an education is good, plus the ability to be curious and learn things. And like you said, be able to prioritize things. But now let's segue into, you get your MBA, you go back, they breach your contract, and they have to pay you. Now what?
Yeah. Then I was full-time in my business, but at that moment I already, I was already, breaking even or making a little bit of money in the business, and then the business, started doing very well. We opened like 5 locations, and then the business started doing very good. But then we have the issue of growing too fast. That it's not the same that you're running 1 location when you're running 5 locations. So, at the end, obviously, the growth is painful. When you grow too fast, it's painful. But I lived from that business for about 7 to 8 years, and honestly, I lived very well. And then the situation in Venezuela came very hard. So people, all the Xaviers government and all the problems that we have there, we start seeing, the dollar, it's difficult to find the currency to buy, products, or you cannot find food. I mean, there is a lot of problems. So I at that moment, my wife and I were expecting our first kid, and I heard a lot about stem cells, cord blood, taking the cord blood stem cells from your kid. So I was researching about, I always have been very curious, and I started researching about that, what is that, and even I didn't have an idea, what is a stem cell or anything like that. So I found like the 3 top US companies that were doing that. And one of them actually is a public trade company, and I contact them and ask them, do you have any company in Venezuela that is representing your business here? I say no, but you might be interested in in doing some like we have this other business where we can help you. And then so to make it short, we bought a license for that company. And we start selling stem cells.
But this isn't you built this from scratch, or was it something existing? It
was existing in the U.S., but they have license agreements in every country. And in Venezuela, that company was not present. So we signed the exclusivity license agreement with them, and we were in charge of sales. And also when the mother was going to the delivery, we need to give her a kit. So the physician take a sample of the cord blood. We pick up the kit and ship it to the U.S. using FedEx, and then we keep track of the kit, and that's it. So it was like a one-time fee processing. But the good thing is after that, you have the annual maintenance for that blood, because that blood is being storage, for long-term use. So it's a cryogenic process where they have that. So it's a repeating, it's a revenue that you're gonna receive every year after year. So the thing here, the idea was how we put in the most people, the larger amount of people, as soon as possible, so we can have a good revenue. So we started with that, and we have that business at this moment. We keep that business. We have a good, amount of customers there, even though the situation is not good. But then after that,
but real quick on that point with the stem cells. You said you're a really curious person, mm-hmm. right? You see this environment that we're doing this podcasting. It's because I kind of like to see where the market's going and where trends are headed, mm-hmm. and I kind of start studying and I think, okay, can I do this? Okay. Yes or no? If yes, then I try it. Okay. Maybe I fail, maybe I succeed. But either way, I constantly keep myself reading as well. I mean, do you think that curiosity, without that component, do you think you would have made it as far as you have?
I think there's two types of people.
Uh-huh.
So one type of, I do have even my best friend, his corporate world. So there's people willing to take risks, and there's other people. I'm very risk oriented. I'm willing to jump into an idea. If I really believe in the idea, I will go all the way. And sometimes I have failed, and sometimes I have done a good job pursuing the idea. Most of the time, hopefully, so far, the results have been good, but sometimes you make mistakes, and sometimes you make mistakes because you didn't do your due diligence well, and sometimes I have taken, in the distributor business where we started here in Florida at the beginning when we bought the business, and then when we started running the business, we noticed that the business was not the same, business that we initially thought it was. So we look into the numbers, we look into the details, everything, but we forget. We made a huge mistake. We didn't do the field due diligence.
The field due diligence.
Yes.
So going out and talking to the customers and stuff.
No, doing the route.
Doing the route.
We did it only for a few days.
But before you got to BL Global here in Miami and you acquired that company, how did you get from Venezuela here? Like, how was that process, and how was the transition?
After the stem cells bank, we had an opportunity with a company that was manufacturing motorcycles in Venezuela. In Venezuela, motorcycles are very popular, small motorcycles, because there is a lot of traffic. So people use motorcycles it's the easy way to make a living for someone that didn't have the opportunity to study. Mm-hmm. You buy a very cheap Chinese motorcycle, and then you do something called moto taxi, which is like a moto cab.
Yeah.
And you make more money than an engineer. So it's very well paid, because they take people from one point to the other in minutes instead of hours. So this company that was making those Chinese motorcycles assembly in Venezuela was looking to create a financial company to handle all their distributors, and in order to give them terms, in order also to be the face of the manufacturer. So so it was a manufacturer, it was the financial company, and then the distributor. So we were selling the motorcycles to the distributors, mm-hmm. and we were having, the manufacturer give us, the motorcycles, and we will assigning those motorcycles and selling those motorcycles to the distributors, and we make a small split between, because of the different, because of the service fee that we charge them, and then we charge also a service fee to the dealer, because we finance them for 30 days. So we're making maybe 2%, 3% only, but the volume
was ridiculous.
Yeah, we were doing 20,000 units a month, more or less.
Oh,
so that was huge. And the important thing, but with that small margin, what allows us to do that well is that we always have been very maybe because my IBM background, so we developed a system to do that, from all the process of the finance of the motorcycle was done only with 2 persons. And we were talking about 25,000 units. So it was fully automated. So it was incredible. So when we got the units, we have like a way to automatically distribute the units based on a table that we have developed. We give like a rank to the distributors, and based on that rank, we split the units automatically. And they have, they receive like an email. You have been receiving, you have received a lot. You just press here to accept or here to decline. If they decline, we do a second round, but that was fully automated. So that process was done by the manufacturer. It took them 2 weeks just to assign the vehicles, and we were doing that in an hour and a half, maybe. So
and you made this, the program?
Yeah, we developed that with a programmer, and the system was fully automated with the bank. We consolidate the accounts. We do. I mean, it was beautiful. But then maybe that was one of the best ventures that I've been in because of the volume. But then suddenly the government, started not releasing, the U.S. currency, and the manufacturing couldn't pay the manufacturing of the parts in China, and I was lucky to sell my stocks before, because the situation in Venezuela was very dangerous. So we decided to move into the US, and my wife is Italian, and we were able to apply to a visa called E2, that is an investor visa, and that is also common for other countries, not only Italy. And then what we did is we looked into a business. It was the distributor business that we have right now, and we bought the distributor business, the distribution business, I'm sorry, and we came here. But the thing, as always, as you do something in a hurry, we took back decisions, because we have a deadline. That was the first day of school of my kids. So we were trying to have everything set up for that day.
This was in 14, or what year was this?
That was, 14, 14. So we did a lot of due diligence, accounting, paperwork stuff, but we missed on the field. And in the field, the competition was being in this company everywhere. So there was a situation in the market. There was a lot of problems,
And the other owner knew it, obviously, and just.
Yeah, the other owner knew it, and I was a little bit smart to put a letter of like a deposit, where if we found something that was not correct, you can try to take the deposit. It was an amount, and we were able to take the money out from the guy after we complained about the situation. But it was very tough at the beginning. And
so wait, you took the money? Did you discount the price, having found out about that?
Yeah, because we didn't pay the full price.
Okay.
So we leave a decent amount of money in like an escrow, and there is something called hidden information. I mean, I don't remember the legal term, but it's something that if you buy a business and there is a situation that the owner knows and they didn't disclose that, you can have a case, because the owner knows that situation might affect badly your business, and he didn't disclose that, you might have a case, And what happened is we found many problems, and one of the problems was that the guy was, importing from China and not paying the full amount of duty. So, there was an IRS issue. I mean, we found a lot of problems. So
and that was after you're already here?
Yeah, I was already here. And
so you had to just do it anyways?
I have to do it anyway, and I have to fix everything. And I mean, every door that I open, I have fire. At the beginning, even we have the vehicle for, doing the deliveries. and when I tried to buy my own policy, and they asked me, what business are you doing? I do distribution. And when I got the quote was like 3 times the quote that was on the P&L of the business. Like, why is this different?
That's insane.
Yeah, because you have a personal insurance before. So the guy was running the business, the vans, with a personal insurance instead of a commercial insurance. And then commercial insurance has other rates because there's more risk, because
Right.
the van is driving, everywhere. So we run into millions of problems, but millions. And we fixed all of them, all right? But it took us about 4 years to have
4 years.
3 or 4 years to put the company where it should be when we bought it, about 4 years, 3 or 4 years to clean all the mess, to be honest.
Yeah. And that's how long it's taken us. So I don't know if you know this story. My uncle, they started this 2001, but he was working at his distributor, and Ignacio had his development job, and they had this as a side thing. So by 2014 or 13, whenever we started, they had made about $1 million in revenue. So we knew there was a potential to do something. And anyways, he quits his job because his boss is making him angry and he wanted to do something else. And then I graduate college in January, and we both start the business with $5,000 a month in recurring revenue. So that was the start. But it took us to figure it out 4 years. We had to figure out all the issues with marketing, the issues with the program, the bugs, the same thing, right? Basically, to get it to a point where it's automated and it's a good quality product that we can sell our customers. I think a misconception these days is that people think it's easy.
No.
Like the online guys that drive the Lambos and do all this stuff, they tell you, no, you can be rich like this.
No.
But they don't realize like all the stress that goes into this, all the problems. Every day you wake up and it's 8 new problems every single day.
Yeah.
I have one of my mentors. I went on a fishing trip with him a couple months ago, and I'm sitting on a $50 million jet with this guy. And he's telling me, Mickey, every time I solve all the problems, I think, I'm not gonna have no problems tomorrow. And I come in the morning, and the first thing they give me is 10 new problems. So it doesn't matter the size of the business, you're always gonna have problems, and your ability to solve them will determine the success of the business. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a kid that sometime I was complaining about the business, and the kid was in my car with my kid friends. And I was complaining about the business, the employees, everything. And the kid told me something like, if you have a business, you're gonna have problems. If you don't want problems, don't have business. So it's just like that. It's a kid, but it's the reality. I mean, it's impossible to have a business without problems. I think when you really grow, when you really understand the issue, is how you react into the problems. I mean, sometimes you get very stressed, or you get very stressed, but when you have a lot of problems, at the end, I will say 80%, 90% of the problem, you already know the solution. So it's experience. So the experience is, as you say, 4 years, 3 years, maybe 5% of the problems you don't know what to do, but you have an idea and you will figure out. And what I have learned is I'm always thinking, what if?
I read that in your LinkedIn.
What if? And I have that solution for 99% of my problems. What if?
So when you think about potential problems that could happen.
Yeah, but you solve it in advance. I mean,
can you give us an example of something?
Yeah, let's an example of your company. I have your devices, your printer. If a guy call me, look, my devices get stolen or break down, I lost it. It happens to me. You cannot imagine running your business without having a spare unit in your office ready to come here and I just change the idea and keep going. But I didn't go and buy the device when that happened to me. I bought it before.
And you had it ready.
Of course. What happened if one of my vehicles break down? I already have an account set up with Enterprise. They can just go there, give my name, and that's it. They don't even have to pay for it. But you're not gonna wait until your van break down to start, finding where to go. You don't have to go there and put your credit card. I mean, there are a million things. I mean, what happened if, I don't know what happened. I mean, I have if I have a car down, I already have like a contract with a repair shop. They just go there. I mean, that's it. So what if you have the answer of most of the situation that will arise on your daily basis, or if you respond to what if, you be a little bit more in calm. It doesn't mean that you're not gonna have problem. Of course you're gonna have, but at least you will have less problems to solve and more time to solve the new problems. And the what if for me is critical. I mean.
Do you write them down? How do you come up with the ideas?
You need to start thinking about your day-to-day your process. I mean, you need to have process in place. I mean, let's say I have guys doing sales. Okay, what he's gonna do? Let's think about the distribution company with your system. What is the first problem that we can have happen? The guy turned the device, tried to sync, no signal. The guy cannot work.
Yeah, man.
So what the process you say? Even that I have a chip on my thing, singing in your home. Mm-hmm. So if let's say that the carrier, T-Mobile or whatever carrier that you have is down, for example, it could happen. But if you're in your house, you can connect to your Wi-Fi and sync. So in the process, if you're gonna start the sales process, you need to sync in your house. What happened? What if you forgot to sync in your house and you go out and you cannot sync? You need to give alternative. Mm-hmm. Go Starbucks, go McDonald's.
So you already give them these instructions.
They call it go. Yeah, you need to have a process. What if?
And now the important thing is once you have all these what ifs written down, you're able to give them to somebody else, right? Like, do you have somebody you rely on to help you solve some of these problems?
Yeah, I do have someone in the warehouse that I'm promoting as a manager right now, and I'm in the process of having all the sales rep, instead of calling me, calling him, and he's doing very well right now. And one of the things that have been very helpful is I'm trying to teach him how to do most of the things in video. I'm using like Loom, for example, which is a very nice app. So I just send him, look, this is the Loom video, how to do this, and he just has to follow the video. It's very easy, and the video has audio and images. I mean, it's very easy. And yeah, and then when you have all your process complete, and you know everything that can happen, you stop. When you have all the process in place first, you're gonna receive less calls, and then you have more time to work or to have fun maybe.
Yeah.
But if you don't have process in place, you're gonna be receiving a lot of calls, and you're gonna run into a lot of issues.
Yeah, it's all chaos at that point.
It's a chaos. Yeah, correct.
Okay, so you have your company, it's going good now, right? After fixing all these issues. What does the next couple of years look like for you? I mean, I know you mentioned the Amazon thing. Talk to us about what your plans are moving forward.
Sure. After 1 year in being in a process with Amazon, we were able to sign a contract with them to be a DSP. That's a delivery service partner. And the process, as I told you, took about a year. And we're gonna be delivering packages for them in Miami in a new terminal, starting on October the 30th.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So now you're gonna be a DSP. You have a distribution company. You have the stem cell company. How do you manage all these things at one time? Like, do you use a list? What is your strategy to manage all these different things that you're doing at once?
Well, I'm trying to find good people to help me managing each business, and people that I can rely on, people that I can trust, and teach them to do what it need to be done, because obviously I cannot be everywhere, and I'm trying to promote people from inside of the company to run, for example, my distributor business. And in the stem cell business, I do have a manager in place in Venezuela that is running the business as he's a manager, but he has he also is like he has a stock. He also make money about the earnings that we make.
Right.
So it's like a
Profit
partner.
share.
Yeah, he has a profit share with us. So he's running the business as an owner without being an owner. Here in the distributor in the business, we have a guy that we have been promoting, and for the Amazon, I'm interviewing some people there this weekend to run as an operational manager. And the guy has experience working with Amazon before. So I'm trying to find for this new business. I'm trying to find people with experience so he can help me to launch. You know, that's what I'm trying to do.
You know, it's crazy. I didn't know any of these things about you, right? When you have a business like ours and you have a lot of customers and you only hear the bad things.
Yeah, of course.
You're not perceptive. I mean, you don't have enough time to study each of your customers and see who they really are. So it's like I'm learning all this information and I'm blown away. You're a master at managing business. I mean, think about all this stuff. You learned perfect English, right? You said, "Oh, I'm worried about your English is perfect."
Okay.
No, it's good. I mean, you're able to do a great podcast. You manage all the business. You do that. You're always thinking of new ideas. It's like there's all these dimensions to you that I had no idea about.
And I do have a lot of other ideas that I want to develop in the future. But I need to have the problem here. As you know, we're not locals, and just to get into a new country and to be able to make enough money to have a decent life without being locals is not easy. I mean, it's not. I mean, I think it will be different if I went to the school here and then I got my first job. I live with my parents, maybe, and then you have like a career path, maybe. But when you come here as an entrepreneur, knowing that 9 out of 10 business, they go bankruptcy, and then you're able to pass, 5 years with your business, and then you're looking, into new opportunities. It's good. I mean, we try to be always looking for what else we can do. We try to go to all the trade shows as possible. We travel a lot, in US, or to visit all the trade shows, to visit what is trending, what is not, and we are always looking for opportunities, and at this moment, what we're trying is to build something that doesn't depend on me. I want to be helping the managers how to to run their business or achieve their goals, but I want to step out a little bit of the daily operation because the company is running well. And with coming back to the distributor business, when we started, we're competing. We're maybe the local largest independent DSD distributor, but we're competing also with a corporate DSD distributor, like, I don't know, the big ones. I don't know. And those companies are happy to work with 5%, 6% gross profit. And just to give you an example, they do, I don't know, 16 stops per day with a full truckload of average $3,000 per invoice, and we're in a van doing 10 stops, 150, 200 per invoice. So we're not competing with the same with the same resources. But what we try to do is how we can differentiate ourselves, because we cannot compete with a company that is doing $2 billion in revenue at this moment, at least. But how can we compete with that? And the only thing that what we figure out is, first we need to find a niche. So the niche that we found is customers that those big guys don't want to take care of. For example, Frito-Lay has a policy. If you don't buy as much as a certain amount, you have to go into a portal, put an order, and they will UPS. And that's not, that takes time, it's not that good. So if you're there, maybe with a similar product, you will make the sale, So we have a niche of independent stores. Most of the market of gas stations, which is what we serve, is coming in the independent, and many of them are people that they go, I don't know, to BJ's, to Costco to buy the stuff, and so that's an opportunity, because we tell them, look, we will bring you the product, we will do the merchandise of the product, we unpack the product, we put it in the shelf for you, and I will guarantee you the product. Most of the large distributors, they sell you the product and that's it. If the product gets expired or the product is bad or whatever, you just lose your money. But we guarantee the sell through the product. If we come back in 30 days and the product is not moving, we evaluate two things: the price is correct and where you put it. Obviously, if the two variables are okay, I take the product back and I give you a credit and give you another product. If the price is not good, I suggest you to change it. And if the location isn't good, I help you to find a good location for the product. And then when I come next time, I will see what happened. I'll see what happened. And then the thing is about getting the trust of the customer. When the customer knows that he's not gonna lose money with you, because if something doesn't move, you're gonna take it back, you have earned the business already. Because there's no risk. If this is not moving, I just give it back to the guy, had a new item. And that's the way that we differentiate from the big distributors, by trust. And I would say that's the thing that we learned at the beginning. And then how else we can differentiate ourselves? Okay, because we're selling, most of the brands that we're selling, are everywhere. Are highly recognized brands, or brands that are
They're almost commodity brands.
Yeah. So last year we focused on private labeling, and we focus on exclusivity agreements. So
for the private labeled items.
For just to give you one idea, there are some products that maybe they are very popular and very well known, but they don't have presence in the convenience store segment, and they want somebody to do it, because the other important thing is we try to find those products, most of the products that they need service. I mean, let me give you an idea. I mean, if you sell, I don't know, M&Ms, you just put the box and it's gonna sell for sure. But let's say that you have a product that comes in a rack and you need to refill the rack one by one, so you need a service. So you need someone that goes, put it one by one in the rack, clean the rack, so it needs service. So we're trying to find products that require service. So just to give an idea of one of the products, we are the master distributor for Original Gourmet Lollipops, which is a very big company making lollipops, gourmet lollipops in the US. Listen, if you go to Walmart, you see like in the cashier like a tree of lollipops. Yeah. Well, I was in Walmart, I saw the tree. Oh, this is good. This is very good. It needs service because somebody has to put one by one. It's less than $1, so rotation should be good. And it's very well known because everywhere I go, I see it. But it's not in the gas station. So I contact them and I ask them, can I distribute your product in the convenience stores? And say, but I need exclusivity. They say, okay, you can do it, but we will not give you any exclusivity because we need to get to know you first. So we started distributing the product, and it was funny because at the beginning, I thought everybody know this. Everybody have seen this product in Walmart or Home Depot or in any major store. But when we were offering the product in the convenience store, maybe 3 out of 10 were taking the product, and I was, wow, it's not bad, but I think it could be better. So I decided to go out and see what was going on. And the thing is that display of lollipop has a patented magnet. So what is the key in convenience store? What is the problem? Space. Mm-hmm. But if I tell you that you can have revenue in the air, you will not maybe understand what I'm talking about. So if you don't show the product and demonstrate the product, how you handle it, nobody's gonna buy it. So I decided, okay, why don't we make one lollipop display, we have it ready in the car, and when we go down to visit the customer, we just put it and see what happens. So the funny part was, we visit 10 customers and we put 11 displays. Okay. So it's the way how you sell the product. I mean, if you're selling the product from a book or from an iPad,
they can't see it.
They cannot see the main benefit of the product. The main benefit of the product was that it doesn't take space, because it's a magnet display, and the magnet display
and those
is hanging in the air. But people don't realize that until you just click it, And it was funny because every time we click it, they go, no, I'm not eating. And as soon as you put the click, leave it there. It was the immediate word that we heard after. So it was very fun.
Because you basically took advantage of real estate that otherwise would never occupy.
Oh, obviously. So we start looking products
for those opportunities.
For those opportunities. So when we start developing display ourselves for other products that we already have, but we found creative ways to put those displays in our customers. So that's something that we did. And so we did we found a very good display manufacturer, and we have done amazing things with him. And so we start with exclusivity items, and then we start developing brands. So we're gonna have, by the end of the year, we might have about 5 brands that we have already registered, and we start, selling. And it take time, but I mean, we have a bad experience, and we learn, the very hard way. One of my sales rep, when they told me, look, candles are selling very good in gas stations.
Yeah.
Candles in a gas station? Are you kidding me? Yeah. Okay, so I contact one of the companies, and we bought like 4 cases. Next day, cases gone. Okay, let's buy, I don't know, 20, gone. Pallet gone, 2 pallets gone. Say, wow, this is good. So I started a relationship with that manufacturing, and I was hesitating at the beginning. Should I do my private label? Should I continue with them? And finally, to make it sure, the guy convinced me to use their own brand, and we started selling the product. And then suddenly the company stopped making the candles. And after developing a huge market of candle in our customer, the product, we couldn't find the product. And the other thing, that the product was very successful because we were able to develop a display where you can fit 12 candles in this, like in a revolving display about this diameter.
Mm-hmm.
So the seller was the display, because usually it's glass. I mean, you can put glass 1, maybe 2, but it's delicate, because they will fall in the counter. But if you put something that is holding securely, and you can spin it, and the display was a killer. And then the manufacturer stopped, making the candles, and now we have to start from scratch with our own primary label, with a second manufacturer, and we lose maybe 1.5 years of work because we didn't thought about that at the beginning. So the good thing about the private label is you do control your brand, and you can take your brand wherever you want. But when you have a brand that is already owned by someone else, you have no control. So we learned the hard way that. So right now we're working with 5 trending products with our own private label. So hopefully we'll have it this year.
Okay, so let's talk about the formula. Your formula, at least. Niche market, low price.
Competitive price.
Yeah, competitive price. Good service. So the ability to merchandise, the ability to have sales reps that actually go into a store and care about the product they're placing.
Yeah, and guarantee the sales.
Guaranteed sales. But most importantly, while they're there, while you're going into these stores, looking for opportunities to leverage real estate that hasn't been leveraged with other products, and then putting creative ways to place these products. That's the formula.
Yeah, that's the formula. And at the beginning, I was spending like too much time in the office. And then I decided, look, I need to go out, because in the office you see a lot of things, but when you go out, you see things that your people is not gonna see. I mean, the opportunities are outside. Even opportunity for new products, or maybe a very good sales rep that you wanna take from your competition for in the future. I don't know, or ask the manager, what people are asking that you don't have. And sometimes you get responses, or some people tell you, look, I have nobody, bringing me synthetic oil. Do you have it? Maybe you want to do it, maybe you don't want it. But if you don't ask, and the other thing is, we are always very shy to ask about referrals. And some of the things that I've learned is the easy way to get a customer is to ask for a referral. I mean, I was training. I had a guy who had I would say medium to low performance, but he was a very nice guy. And I told the guy, look, I'm gonna ride with you for the days that you need me, but you cannot do less than X amount of dollars a day, because it's not possible. And I'm gonna show you that it's possible. So we went out for about 3 days, and I was just observing, you know, the way that he was doing his job, and it was for me very easy to see the problem, you know. And first, the guy was not trying to upsell in every visit, which is a must for a salesman. I mean, the customer needs to already buy a certain type of product, and in your goal in the next visit is to upsell.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't plan that ahead, what you're gonna do, you're gonna be improvising every time. I mean, sales is not casual. I mean, if you don't plan your route on the morning or previous weekend or before, and you don't know your customer, or you don't know why your customer, in your system, you can see what the customer is buying. But why you can put a note, next time offer this or that, because many times the customer, I don't want this, but next time I'll take it. But if you don't write it down, you forgot, you know. So one of the things that I try to develop or teach this guy is, you know, first look at the store, and depending on the area, on the location, and in the store, try to find at least 3 products that you can offer. Don't offer a bunch of them, because it's like if I bring you 100 products,
it's too much, you're overwhelmed.
It's overwhelmed, exactly. So take 3 products and bring the 3 products. I saw a mistake. This guy was trying to sell with a catalog. It's not the same, you know. You need to bring the physical product. So bring the physical products.
3 new products.
Yeah, 3 new products.
So anytime they visit a customer, they bring
try.
3. They try to.
That was my suggestion. Try to bring at least 3 new products based on the customer that you already have studied, you know. So if you are in the African American area, maybe you bring, I don't know, hot stuff or pork ribs, you know, they love that. But you're not gonna offer that in, I don't know, maybe in Brickell, they don't like that, you know. So you need to know where you are. So some stores, they want only 99-cent items. Others, like if you're in a 7-Eleven, it's like more upscale. So you need to know a little bit, you know, what is the target of the location.
And what was the result? I mean, what did you achieve with
well,
this route?
After being in 3 days with doing a route with this guy 30%.
In 3 days?
Yeah, 30%.
Just with some strategy.
Yeah, just giving them, you know, some tips about how to sell, what to offer, what to do. Teaching that you need to go out with a goal. You need to plan your route. If I have these 10 customers, and I know this customer usually buys 200, this one 300. You already have a plan. If you add the invoice for the last visit of this 10 customers, if you do the same that you did last time, you're gonna do X amount of money. But if you plan to upsell 20%, 30%, you know your goal already. It's like you don't want to go out and say, oh, what I'm gonna do today, I don't know. Let me just I'm gonna take the turnpike or whatever. It's like you try to fly in a plane without knowing how to. You need to plan. So I told this guy about how to plan the route, how to to upsell. And there is something that I learned from another from a sales rep. A sales rep is a person that is in the border of being too pushy.
Yeah.
But not being pushy. So there is some people that let me give you just an example. We went to a 7-Eleven store with this guy that I'm telling you, and this manager called him because they need a new rack with some new products. We went to the store, and the manager had a situation, and the manager had to go out. And we were there with a rack of, I don't know, $700, but the manager, the owner was not there. So the guy said, oh, okay, when he's coming back, okay, he's gonna be here 9 a.m. tomorrow, you can come back, no problem. I said, okay. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna come tomorrow, or what should we do? Okay, can you call me the manager? Yeah, and then the manager came and said, do you mind calling the owner, because we brought this because he asked us to to bring this. I know he's not here, but we're already here, so tomorrow we have another route, so it's gonna be a little bit complicated to come back. Do you mind calling the owner? And the manager called the owner and said, no, it's good, leave it there and make the invoice and come after tomorrow to pick up the check. But we were walking out of the store
With the product.
with the product. We were almost in the car, and I asked him, to be a little more aggressive. I mean,
You have to be.
ask. If you don't ask, you have no. I mean, some people would just walk out of the store and bye bye. But I learned from a sales rep that we have, which is very good, that he's almost annoying. It's not annoying, but he's so insist. I mean, he insists that sometimes I see people, okay, I'm gonna take one, so for you just to leave me alone, something like that. But at the end they laugh, but he makes the sales.
That's all that matters. Well, that's something I tell our sales rep. He goes into a demo sometimes, okay, and he does the whole demo for 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
And we reach the end of the demo, and the guy's like, well, I'm gonna think about it,
Okay.
and he never asked for the sale. So they get off the phone, and I go, I think you just lost that sale because you didn't even ask him for the money. Maybe he was ready to pay you, didn't even ask.
Mm-hmm.
So my new policy with them is this: beginning of the meeting, you're gonna tell the customer what the software costs.
Yeah.
After outlining the problems that they have and the benefits you'll provide to them, then you'll show them the software, and at the end, you're gonna ask them for the money. Now they're gonna tell you no with an objection. So you're gonna address that objection and you're gonna ask them again.
Of course.
Okay? So you have to ask for the sale at least 2 to 3 times before you hang up the call to increase the probability, because once you leave with that rack, now the probability of you coming back and giving them the same rack again might decrease.
Zero.
Zero. For me, that first time, if we leave that first demo, most of the time we gotta chase the guy around for 6 months. We lose 6 months of recurring revenue because my sales rep doesn't close the deal on that first phone call. I don't care if the guy gives me 10% deposit. I want that deal closed because...
Yeah, but then in your case,
Mm-hmm.
with the software, different software that I have tried that I like, I mean, maybe, get a small deposit. In your case, you cannot do a trial because, the setup is complicated. But, small deposit.
Well, we do money back guarantee as well.
I will do a small deposit and I give you, 60-day money back guarantee if you are not satisfied with the product. So what you can lose.
Yeah, it's a slam dunk. But you have to try that. If you don't try it, then...
I have to tell you, before I know you guys, I went into 2 software and I got screwed.
You got B-Mobile, right?
No, I don't even remember my route online, and I tried 2, and one of them, to be honest, just the implementation was up to 6 months, and I haven't made the first sale.
They told you the implementation time.
No,
took
the
6
implementation,
months.
they told me that it was going to be like 2 months, but I was already in the month 6 and I haven't used the software, and I have already I was paying every month. I pay a setup fee. I lost all the money. At the end, I met your Mickey and your uncle, and he came to my office. He set up one machine in 3 minutes, and he said, "Oh, this is possible." Yeah, okay. So in less than a week, we were up and running, and obviously at the beginning,
we had problems. I remember. You were
issues,
famous.
But
you were famous. You found every problem that we ever had,
but you solved it.
But we solved them, and we were there to give you the good support. So before we get off, I always ask my customers one last question. What advice, right? Let's say you met someone younger than me, 22-year-old. He's trying to get into business. He's got a lot of ideas, right? What advice would you give somebody getting started right now? Give me one piece of advice.
Go after your dreams, for sure. Go ahead. If you have a dream, make it happen.
At least try.
Yeah, if you don't try, you can. I mean, I think the worst thing is not trying. Because if you try, you have at least a chance to to make it happen. But if you don't try, you never know. But if you really feel, I mean, when you're a person, with the entrepreneurial spirit, you feel inside that it's gonna work. I mean, if you feel inside that it's gonna work, I will do it. The thing is, for many people, that has a risk. I mean, for someone like quit to quit their job, or they don't have time, to do things. But if you really believe in something, and if you know that you have something that is different, that is unique, that can be, that a lot of people might need it, or something that solves a problem, you should go.
Yeah. And that's a great piece of advice. You know, it's funny, when you walked up to me, I was talking to our main Android developer. Her brother's into music. His dream is to be a musician, but his parents have told him that that's not a possibility. He has to go to school and take the proper steps to go do a real job.
Mm-hmm.
So I was explaining to her, had my parents kept me from going after my dreams, like you said, I wouldn't have done this business.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be here. Right, I'd be in Las Vegas working a normal 8-hour-a-day job because I would have been brainwashed into not taking the risk. I wanted to take the risk.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you 100%. If you guys don't go after your dreams, you have no probability of achieving the success that you're looking for.
Yeah.
0%.
Yeah, and you're gonna fall for sure.
Yeah.
But every time you fall, you learn. I mean, and so next time you will not make the same mistake. And I still make a lot of mistakes, a lot. And I learned about, you know, all the mistakes. And I had the same issue with when I was at IBM, and I was, look, I had at a moment 23 years, and I was making 120K.
Wow.
At that moment. And when I told my mom I'm gonna quit, I said, what?
Are you crazy?
To be honest, at that age, with that amount of money living in your home, you don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm talking about that amount of money 25 years ago.
It's like $300,000-$400,000 now. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money,
Yeah.
because I was doing amazing sales. I mean, I've been a salesperson all my life, and I always hit my targets, and I was making all the commissions, so everything was perfect. And when I told my mother I'm gonna quit for developing a spa franchise, I said, "Are you out of your mind? Are you crazy? This is not happening. You know, you have to think about it." And to be honest, IBM was a great school in order to know the formality of a business, you know, all the culture, everything related to a big company. And it give you a lot of knowledge in, you know, how to be corporate, you know how to treat customers, a lot of formality. But I remember when I finished my relationship with them, they told me, look, the only condition that we accept you know to finish this relationship is that you need to take the 64 days of vacation that you have pending.
Wow.
Could you imagine what life did I have there?
No.
I didn't have a life. 64 days. So I got 64 days off, they pay me, and then I was done. Because by the law, you need to do that. I mean, you cannot have like pending days of vacation, because they were like rolling every year. So in Venezuela, you have 15 days per year, and then maybe you can take 1, 2. But I have accumulated like a lot of days. So I was making good money, but I didn't have time to use that money for anything, you know, for traveling or your own joy or whatever, you know, because I was working even Saturdays, Sundays during the night. I was working like crazy, and you're able maybe to do that when you're young, but then, you know, you don't want to do that. You know, you want to do that for something that maybe you can own in the future, that you can pass that to your kids or something, and that's what we have been trying to do since we got here.
Well, Javier, I think you made it, man. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you for everything, Javier.
Thank you for your
Xavier
support.
Bello is my hero. I can't believe all the things that he's been through, all the things that he does every single day. I've grown just in this hour and a half this much respect for you. Honestly, I had no clue. So I appreciate you for stopping in, and thank you guys for tuning in. That was episode 9. We look forward to seeing you guys next time. Take care.